Hi friends, welcome you all for today's session HR Analytics 18 MBA HR 302. So we are into Unit 2 HR Analytics Framework Session 4. So previous session we discussed regarding to the two frameworks HR Maturity Framework and LAM Framework. So in today's session we are going to discuss one more framework, that is HCM 21 Framework. So all these frameworks, so we've already discussed, these frameworks are been formed, okay, they have been formed for our HR practices, programs and the policies to be better for an organization, so that we ensure that these three P's are effective, efficient and impactful for an organization. So here HCM 21 framework, okay, it's been designed this way where you have the four boxes, okay, four blocks we can call. The first block is called the scan and the second is the plan and then you predict and then you produce. Okay, very simple. HCM 21 framework, okay, it's having the four box or the blocks, what we can say, where each block is having different blocks, that is, one is a scan, then the plan, then the predict and the produce. See, what we usually do is, we are going to first scan what is happening in the environment. Okay, that is, we try to scan internally as well as externally what's happening. Okay, it can be to the new policies, the programs, on the practices. Okay, we are highlighting our HR analytics framework. So why we have to scan? Because we want to make in our organization the three P's strong. So since we are concentrating on our three P's, so we have to scan what is happening in the internal and external environment. So internally, we can say whenever there are defaults, the disasters or something happening not matching to the objectives or the goals, we can, okay, when we try to concentrate or when we try to scan for the betterment internally, so that we can make our three P's strong. Okay, looking at the loopholes, we can correct it. The same way, externally we do scan what's happening in the external market, external business, like new policies, new programs and the new practices, the competitors, what they are inventing, the technology, the market fluctuations or the new laws, okay, legal obligations, economy, etc., market demands, etc. So same way, the scan is the first thing. So where we do come to know regarding to the customer's preferences also. The next one is, according to that scan what we are doing, that is internally, externally, then we start planning. The planning is something we are going to design, what we can just give to the betterment. Okay, once the plan is required, again in your planning, it requires your managerial as well as your operative functions here too. Okay, so then we're going to predict the future. Yes, after planning, keeping again the future. Yes, what the best we can give. Okay, keeping the mind of the future, and then the same way we start producing. Okay, so this again I come back to these four blocks to explain much better. So keep that. One, we are going to scan. After scanning, we are going to plan. Then after plan, we are going to predict, and then we are going to produce. Very simple at us. Okay, so basically to understand this HCM 21, so this was this framework now. It was derived by David Krillman. Okay, in the 21st century. Okay, it was derived by David Krillman, okay, and this is more suitable for the 21st century. With respective of any organizations, if you start applying this framework, okay, anything before you produce, okay, it can be either the goods or the services, anything, okay, start scanning and then you plan and then you predict and then you produce, or we can also say you produce and then you predict. That way also we can go the vice versa. And this framework, it's having a four-step model. I've already said it's a four-step model we can say, or the four blocks or the four boxes. Then it is directing our HR actions. Remember, these four boxes, what they're doing is they are directing our HR actions. Yes, of course, that's what I told. When we start apply this framework now, it makes strong about one's organizations, the practices, the policies and the programs. Also, all our HR units and the functions. HR activities or HR operations. Okay, starting from the procurement till the maintenance. So from the beginning, we are telling. So where do we apply these four boxes? We apply in our HR units. So next is That's the reason why we say it's going to direct the HR actions or the functions here. And next coming, to develop this framework, they have taken around 18 months. They have taken around 18 months considering around 20 organizations. 20 organizations of all IT, BT, manufacturing and other service sectors and all, keeping all the sectors, okay, 20 organizations. Finally, they have come to a framework called this HCM 21 framework, very much suitable for the 21st century. And this framework usually guide you for the better strategic management. Yes, when we start scanning or when we start planning, after scan we plan, then we predict and then you start producing, that makes where you can come with the better strategies for the organization, or we can also say the better strategic management with operations you start working. And organizations are managed better. Remember, HCM 21 framework, when we go with this kind of 4-step methods, organizations are managed very better. That is, very effective, efficient and impactful way. Also, technology, we can also go with the technology updations, because where we are trying to scan what's happening, that's what, why this HR analytics? Why are we applying this analytics in our HR units or the functions, operating functions, not only HR, all the other areas, marketing, finance, productions, etc. Why? Because analytics is demanding. So data science is demanding. So where we are applying, making use of the data, okay, people data, we are applying the technology, that is nothing but the softwares we are applying. So that's the reason even where we can just go with the technology updations also. And next is, it supports the business. Yes, of course, when we start applying this framework, it's going to naturally support the business, because the disasters, the errors are minimized. Something like just in time, we can say, where you are just producing for whatever the demand sake is there. So we are just producing. We are not just keeping something like inventory or the stocks. Okay. So errors are minimized. Okay. Disasters are controlled. So we are just going in time, in the trend market. Okay. So applying this framework, that is, we try to scan what is happening, what are the new trends, according to that we plan, and then we predict what might happen in the future, and then we start producing. Okay, so that's the reason we say it supports business as well as the objectives. Always remember, or every organizations are having objectives. Okay, to meet our goals, we try to have the few objectives, and the objectives are again framed based on these 4 boxes. Okay, and finally, we do have a better solutions for our business problems. So basically, since we are discussing regarding to our HRA framework, that is HR functional units aspects or the operational aspects, so we can have a better solutions in our HR units or the areas. So starting from the procurement till the maintenance. So wherever we do have, we can start applying, we try to scan, after scanning, the plan and then the predict, and then you start producing. For example, we can just take my employees' performance are not up to mark. So what I do, how do I come to know here? I'm just scanning now. So how did I come to know internally, where I can just assess, I'm just getting the data from the production manager or whatever overall assessment, somewhere we are not able to have that expected performance from the employees. So what do? I start planning to improve their performance. So what best, how can I just improve the performance of the employees? So I start thinking for giving like training or other strategies, okay, to improve their performances. Okay, what best to push their performances. And then after that deciding, I start predicting, yes, if I start giving this kind of, so for this problem, this is a solution. So this way I can just tackle to improve their performances. So finally I have just predicted and I implemented, and then that is implementation is nothing but I am producing that. Okay, then I see after giving the training, I look into the production aspect, whether the performance has been increased, up to mark is there. So that is how I try to measure my whatever the training given, that is the effectiveness, efficiency and the impact. So finally I'll just match with the performance expected. The same way, recruitment examples, one more what we can take is the recruitment. So today you're having a trend, recruitment methods are going on in the markets. So what is the new trends of recruitment happening in the various industries? Okay, IT based industries, manufacturing or service sectors. So we try to assess what are the new trend techniques of recruitment or new compensation packages designed. So what I do, scanning I'm doing. I try to scan what's happening in the market. So finally, I try to plan for my respective organizations, the similar kind of recruitment methods or similar kind of compensation design or employee engagement, okay, or the training methods, etc. And then I predict, okay, keeping that, yes, if I start designing this kind of compensation package to my employees, coming employees, or the new trend of recruitment methods, okay, like various like boomerang recruitment or green recruitment or employee poaching, hunting, outsourcing, etc. And then with that, I start producing and I see the results, which are very much matching for the trend, that is the 21st century here. And next, that's what we do. Here we are just giving an example where and all you can apply this boxes, okay, this HCM 21 framework. That is hiring, recruitment, I've already told how we can apply in the recruitment, and engagement, employee engagement, yes, of course. Now it's a pandemic situation. So how I am going to engage my employees in this disaster or any recession time? Okay, when the markets are not doing good, so how I'm going to engage my employees. So here again I'm going to scan and then plan and then I'm going to predict and I'm going to produce. Okay, and next, development, that is the training. That's what we discussed, that training way, or even the talent, okay, retaining for the best brains. Okay, more attritions are there, so how do I retain the best brains? So again I scan what's happening in the market, what are the competitors doing for the best to attract the employees, to retain the employees. So according to that, I plan, I predict and I produce. Identifies issues. Yes, one more advantages of this HCM 21 is we can identify the issues, the problems. So keeping this method, okay, 4-box method, we can identify organizational issues, the problems, okay, business problems, and for that we are giving us solutions, better solutions. Keeping the people data, we are coming with the solutions. And next one, better human capital. So when I apply this framework, I think we can have a better human assets or the human capital. So we can manage our HR, human resources, so-called valuable assets of an organization or the human capitals can be managed effectively, efficiently and impactfully. And next is, see again, what I'm just trying to bring out here is, here you are going to see the 2 boxes here, okay. One framework is here, the similar framework is also displayed here. So scan is something like human structural relations, okay. I've just taken one example, so I'm just giving scan. So human structural relations. For example, I want to bring a better interpersonal good relations in my company. So that's the needed one. So I have scanned, so what best I can do to bring a better interpersonal relations, the cordial, okay, integrated team, group dynamics. So what best I need for my company, so how I'm doing that. So that is very much needed. So I've scanned for the better human structural relation. That's a better interpersonal relations, group dynamics, team building, synergy, whatever we can say that. And next is the plan. What I'm doing is capabilities engagement development. So what for that, the better interpersonal relations in the company, what I have to plan is I have to come with the capabilities. I have to come with the capabilities engaging activities. So I start bringing those activities or those responsibilities or the duties or the tasks where it is going to integrate people to work in a group dynamic or the team building exercises. So that is how I start planning now to improve the interpersonal relations in a company. And next one is I start predicting. Predicting is here enterprise resource plan. Yeah, finally when I start do these two, that is scan the plan, and finally the predictions gives a better resource, enterprise resource. Okay, so finally my organizations can be effective, efficient and impact if I have a good interpersonal relations, or we do call as a interpersonal culture. And next comes, that is the produce, where when we start working in a group dynamics or the team building, integrated manner, coordinated manner, understanding manner, where we can have better optimized resources. Okay, so the things are well managed, okay, without any errors. So we can say the optimization is there. And next, synergy we can say. Synergy is nothing but healthy group dynamics. Team building can be reflected. And finally, you produce. The producers in a very outcome-based, resulted-oriented base, or the performance-based, we start producing. So these are the things what I have tried to explain, taking this the 4-step model, and I have one such example, that is how the examples relates with the scan, plan, the predict, and the produce here. So it's one of the such model. Okay, one more model in today's session. What we are going to you try to understand. So regarding to HR analytics framework. All these frameworks, whatever we discussed in the previous session, HR maturity framework or the LAM framework, and today's session 21 framework, they're all the frameworks are there to make the 3 P's strong. That is the program, policies, and the practices of an organization. So we have to ensure that. So all these 3 P's are strong, then of course the companies are having a better outcome. That means the objectives are met and the goals are achieved, and we are having a better solutions for the business problem. So finally, what we can understand is frameworks helps us to come with a better solutions. Well friends, so continuing with our HCM 21 framework, so what we can try to understand from this diagram, okay, continuation of our HCM 21 framework, that is scan, plan, predict, and the future, we are going to try to bring more the explanation to this diagram. So here what you can say is, you have got the 4 blocks again. One is the sustainability field, okay, and the performance field, number and cost field, satisfaction field. So remember that all these 4 fields are cross-linked, they are interlinked, okay, where whichever you take, they're all connected, okay, in all the directions, okay. So we have a sustainability field here, performance field, and number and cost field, satisfaction field we have. Okay, so what we are trying to understand is, we all know that, okay, when I speak about this analytics, it's all about the 3 levels of analytics. That is something describing, okay, either you predict and prescribe, or you prescribe and you predict, okay. So these are the 3 types or the 3 levels of analytics what we do. That is something we want the past data, okay, that is the descriptive, and that is the predictive. Predictive is something we are just taking the past and the present, okay, that is the what we can say the present data here, and finally we have the future data, something prescriptive what we say here. So remember, what I am trying to explain here is HCM 21 framework is, okay, bringing all the scan, plan, and the predict and the produce. Sustainability field. Sustainability field speaks all about your survival of future, okay. Yes, sustainability of course is, it's not about survival of the fittest, survival of the change, okay. We all know the new slogan, survival of the change. Here when we try to do change in our today's HR functions, okay, bringing the analytics and making the decision of the new science called the data science here, we can have a better future. The companies can have a better future, better survival if we start applying our HR analytics, that is analytics in our HR functions. And also, okay, this brings a better talent and talent poaching to the company, so that we can have a longevity, okay, long survival, okay. And next, also improves, also gains organizational knowledge. Okay, because we have a domains, that's what we have already told, that vertical, horizontal knowledge. So we do have a professionals, HR professionals, but somewhere we need, along with the professionals, analytics, analytical concepts, okay, in their professions. So what we can say is, this framework always in this field, sustainability field, what we can say is, it's one of the field where it shows a positive direction, okay, survival for the future and the better talent pool, okay, along with it organizational knowledge. Next, performance field. Yes, we can have a better performance because all our HR units are every time it's been measured effective, efficiency and impact. Okay, so what we can say is in the performance field, we can assess the current what it is being achieved. So what are we achieving currently and also how it is being achieved. So using this HCM21 framework, what we can try to understand is we can also assess the performance field. So when we start scanning, the planning, the predict and the produce, it also going to help our one more field called the performance field. So how in this performance field is we try to assess the current, okay, what are we achieving, how are we achieving and how we are going to do in the future also. So that is what we say, current what it is being achieved and how it is being achieved. And next, coming to the next field, that is number and the cost field. Number and cost field here, what we do is what is that staff required, the staff numbers required and working cost. So I'm investing on the human capital. So what is that cost again? So I can have a better picture if I start applying this HCM21 framework, so called the scan, plan, predict and produce. So here I can also apply to my number and cost field, that is when I'm hiring or recruiting the staff, okay, as well as the working capital, that is when I'm designing the compensation design and whenever I'm investing on the training or any other aspect for improving the performance. So that also gives me a clear picture here. And next come satisfaction field. So satisfaction field is, it shows the relationship between the performance and finally the satisfaction. Okay, so satisfaction field is something where it brings a relationship between the performance, what it has been achieved, the outcome, what we say, and finally the satisfaction with what we have met with an organization objective or the goal. So this finally, this HCM21, it's a strong framework, what we can say for the 21st century. It also explains to the following fields called sustainability field. It also explain our the sustainability field. So that is for the future as well as for the talent poaching as well as for improving the organization knowledge. And next, coming to the performance field, that speaks about how are we achieving, okay, with what current trends you are achieving and how are we doing that, the achievements, it explains that way. And finally to the number of hiring, that is the recruitment numbers, so what way we are hiring, what numbers you are hiring, and finally what are that investing on this human capital. And finally, it explains your satisfaction field, so called the relationship between the performance achieved and the satisfaction gained. So this, what the blocks we say now here, it's all interlinked, interconnected, where what we can try to understand is the lower, that is the number and cost field. That is, we are trying to understand from the past. Okay, it's going to be in descriptive level or the descriptive type of analytics, what we can say. It's from the past, the number and the cost field. Whereas this present, okay, present is we're going to assess the satisfaction field as well as our performance field, the present one. That is, how are we doing, how are we achieving, okay, what is the current trend for achieving, and with that what is that achievement happening, the performance is happening, is been measured, that is with the terms of satisfaction, okay, the performance oriented with the relationship. So that we say here. So that is the present context we are speaking. And finally, when sustainability field, when I say, it's for the future, that is the prescriptive. So this is predictive, what I can say, and this is the prescriptive, I can say. Finally, that's what we can say, try to understand this HCM21 framework is something. This past is something where I'm scanning. Okay, I'm scanning, and the present is something where I've just planned, okay, and I'm just predicting, okay, predicting what, the performance as well as the satisfaction. And finally, I'm producing is, that is for the prescriptive analytics, what we can say here for the sustainability field here. So this is how we can try to understand HCM21 framework. So continuing with the next framework, we have one more framework, Talentship framework. So what this framework all speaks about, Talentship framework. So Talentship framework is basically formed, okay, it is basically formed of new science, okay, new science of human capital. Okay, we can call it as a new science or data science. Okay, because already we spoke that HR analytics, okay, when I say HR analytics, to our HR units or the operation units, HR operating units or our activities or the functions, we are applying what? The data science. We are applying the analytics here for the better interpretations. Okay, that is what we are trying to understand from the first unit and the second unit also. So we can call this Talentship framework as a new science or the data science, because we are making use of the people data. Okay, we are making use of the people data, and we also need the data plus people, that is human resource. So what data? Human resource data. For these data we are applying the technology. Okay, that's the statistics, the new science or the data science. Stats has been applied to make the quantitative based decisions. So gone are those days where I used to make softer aspect of decisions. So we are making in our HR operations based on the quantitative, that is the hard numbers, what the data are speaking about. Based on that, today most our HR functions are done with the better decisions, what we can say, or all our HR activities or the units are directed by the new science called the data science. So that's the reason we call Talentship framework as a new science or the data science of human capital or human resource. So it requires 3 building blocks. So it requires what? 3 building blocks. As I've already told, 3 building blocks of HR analytics are data, people, technology. That's already been discussed in our first unit. So decision science. So it's called decision science for why. Okay. So we are applying in the input. So we can say that we are applying this decision science input, process and the output. So all these 3 areas, okay, what we say, so called this we can call it as a system framework also we can call, okay, where input is there, process is there, output is there. So here we can see the data science here. Input, basically in management when we speak about input, it's all about our items. All you know that items, that is starting from the men, money, machine, etc. So those are our input resources, okay. And the process, something a process is happening, okay. And output is the goods, services, or the product, the result, final results. So everything in all 3 stages, okay, we are applying the data science here. So everything is based on new science called the data science decision is being made. And so that's what, why this Talentship framework helps us. It's gone, that is peanut butter approach. So those approaches are gone. So there is nothing to like say that carrot and stick approach or the peanut butter approach. So nothing works here. So what we say is we are taking the data. So any problem, the people related or the human related problems, so the decisions are based on the data, what it gets reflected. Okay. So if I'm just firing a person, so it's not something for what reason I'm just firing a person. So here there is a data stating why I'm firing. Okay, maybe his attendance status or maybe his performance status. So everything is clearly giving the picture. Okay, it can the data are giving me exactly why I'm doing that. Okay, the predictions, maybe because of his shortage of attendance, or maybe because of his irregular, that's what, irregular to the company, regular absent, or the where the performance is not up to mark. So how I'm getting the performance is not up to mark? That by this data science, the data are giving the explanations. So with the data, I'm making a better interpretations of judgment. So next is black box. So black box is something, not something blindly or assumption based. I'm just investing on my HR functions or the units. So here this data science makes me to, before I invest in any HR units, what I can say is I can see the success. So if I start apply the data science or the new science for all my HR units, I can have a better return. So I can see the better success. That's what we discuss in the HR measurements. We have various formulas. So training, if I invest on the training, I see the return on the training. Okay, and then recruitment, if I'm investing on the recruitment, again I want to see the return on recruitment. So all my HR functions I'm investing and I do see the return. So there I can measure the success. Okay, and next one is it breaks traditional HR. So we already discussed it is going to break the traditional HR, because gone are those days where we used to make emotional based or the software aspect of decisions. Today the decisions are hardcore and the quantitative based. They are based on quantitative. Okay, that is based on numbers, data. Okay, so based on that, we do make a decision. So breaks traditional HR, and the key concepts of this Talentship framework. What are the key concepts? When I say the key concepts are pivot points. See, this pivot points is something where the points are here: effective, efficient, and impact. So I try to measure all my HR units, okay, whether they are effective, efficient, in impact. How? Based on the data, based on the people data. Okay, either it can be the procurement data or the development data, compensation data, integration data, maintenance data. So I just keep all those data, and I'm just going to match whether they are these three. Okay, this I call the pivot points here. And next is analytical lenses. Analytical lenses, that's what we are applying the analytics here. Analytics is something where keeping the data, I'm trying to analyze and interpret. I'm coming with a analysis part. Okay, so analytical lenses with this data science, okay, what I can do is I can make better strategic decisions and competitions. I can also compete in the market, okay, because I'm applying the data science here, and the business process. It makes my business process very easy. All my input, process, output, it's very simple. Okay, the process is very simple and very flexible also. And next one, this Talentship framework again establishes culture of capacity. It is going to establish what? Culture of capacity, that we can show that organizations are competent enough today, okay, to the trend. What we say, we are keeping the data, okay, the people and the technology. So we all playing with analytics, okay, that means data science again. And next one, LAM framework. Again, one more comes LAM framework, that is logic, analytics, you measure, and the process. That is, we are going to ensure that whether right logic is there, right analytics were applied, right measures we are doing, and the right process is there. So these are the the four key concepts of a Talentship framework. So what it says is, we have the pivot points here, okay, and we have an analytical lens we do get, and the culture of capacity. We can show the strength enough that the organizations are today managing with this concepts of data science. And finally, we do have called a right framework, or the LAM framework, where with the right logic, right analytics, right measures, and the right process we are into. So this is all about the Talentship framework. It all speaks about the what in organizations, if you are making a decisions, okay, on what base we are making a decisions. It's all core based on data science. That is, we're keeping a data, okay, people data. We are analyzing. How are we analyzing? With the help of a statistics here. And finally, we are just making a decisions. That's what we say now. Analytics is something where it's a combination of art, it's a combination of science, and it's a combination of statistics, and where we are trying to evaluate. How we are going to try to evaluate the process, we are going to try to evaluate the objectives, or we are going to try to evaluate the strategies. So it's a overall what we do say. So finally, what we can say is, Talentship framework is one such framework where again, it makes our HRA framework, consent to HRA framework, that is the policies, practices, and the programs, strong enough. Okay, so do make the policies, do make the practices, and do make the programs keeping the mind of data science. So have data, and you analyze, and you make these 3 P's strong, so that you can have a strong framework for an organization.